Well, since Raw went old school last night, because it's now 2:13 on a very early Tuesday morning, I decided, well, they're gonna go old school. Off the rope show went old school, if you will. I decided, well, I can't really go too much old school. So why not bring out something that is old school? Why not bring out this? That's right. Yeah, it's a toy replica and everything, but it is what every fan wants to come back. And that's the Winged Championship. Okay, well, not every fan, but a majority of some of the fans would love to see this come back in some ways. And this is almost 10 years old. This was made in 2004. So, what did I think about old school Raw tonight? Well, I can tell you this. Old school Raw kicked off not with a bang, but with a gong. That's right, The Undertaker came out right even before the intro or the narration by Mean Gene and basically made his appearance on the rampway and, well, made his intentions clear as he lifted his hands up into the air like this, and in the background, on the old Titantron, if you will, HD upgrade of it, though, but it's the old Titantron. So he raised his hands up. We ended up getting the WrestleMania logo in the background, thus indicating he will compete at WrestleMania. And then we have the flames going off in the background. So after that occurs, we of course have the narration or the introduction by Mean Gene, narration introduction. And then we have the old school intro, but with a mixture of past and present superstars in the intro. So after we get that, we get CM Punk coming out with Paul Heyman. And CM Punk basically is blaming the fans, the WWE Universe, if you will, for the fact that he is not facing The Undertaker. I mean, he's not facing The Rock or defending the championship. Basically, he's blaming the fans for the fact that he's not main eventing WrestleMania. And that he's not defending the championship, which he still considers as his. Well, of course, then he decides, you know what? Because you, the WWE Universe, you, the fans, disrespected me and took all that away from me because you want to cheer. Well, he didn't really say this, but you could kind of tell what point he was getting at. And the point was he was blaming the fans for not being behind him and being behind those that are not basically in his league, if you will. So, of course, he says, all right, you guys don't want to support me. You guys want to help take away what I worked so hard for, what I worked so hard to bring prestige back to. Guess what? I'm going to take away something you treasure more than anything around this time of year. I'm going to take the streak away. I'm going to go to Mania and beat The Undertaker. And this of course, brings out Randy Orton. And Randy says, look, Punk, I already acknowledges he's beaten Punk at WrestleMania about 2 years ago, and says that, hey, if there's anybody that's qualified to face The Undertaker, it's me. He acknowledges he faced The Undertaker 8 years ago, he lost, but now he's wiser and he's more ready to face The Undertaker. And then, of course, this brings out Big Show, who says, hey, look, if anybody basically says the same thing, anybody deserves to face The Undertaker and end the streak, it's me. He even acknowledges he faced Undertaker about 10 years ago and lost, but said that at that time he didn't have this, and the WMD, the knockout punch. And it says if he gets the opportunity, and he's confident he will knock the streak into oblivion. And then, of course, this brings out Sheamus, who acknowledges, and is correct in his acknowledgement, that he has not faced The Undertaker. He's never faced The Undertaker at all. And that if anybody should do it, it's him. Because he has the most passion and heart to utilize something like the Brogue Kick to beat The Undertaker with a bit of luck from the Irish, if you know what I mean. And of course, this brings out Vickie Guerrero, who, I don't know what WWE's doing with Vickie. I mean, she still gets booed and everything, gets that heat and everything. She still has to do excuse me. But you know what I do notice is that after she does like a third excuse me, they tone it down. It's like the fans want to boo her, and they want to hear her say it 3 times, and then they tone it down. It's like, hey, we got what we wanted out of her. Let's let her do her announcement. And to me, this may sound crazy in my opinion and in my mind, but I think in a sense that's the fans acknowledging, hey, we like you, we just like booing you. I mean, we know you're sort of a tweener, heelish face or whatever you want to call her, but we just like booing you because we're used to doing it. I mean, we know you're supposed to be on the side of good now, or at least on a neutral side and be good at times, but we like you, we just like to boo you. Or something like that. I don't know. It's I don't know what to do with her. But anyway, she puts together a fatal 4-way, which is Big Show, Sheamus, Randy, and CM Punk with the winner facing The Undertaker. So that's pretty good. Then we get Ryback and Cesaro as our first match of the night. And it was an okay match. I didn't get to see a lot of it because I was going back and forth. I was getting my dinner and all that. But Ryback apparently did something impressive to get Cesaro into the shell shock and beat him 1, 2, 3. And then as he's leaving the ring, Mark Henry's music hits, and they sort of have a stare-off, which kind of teases perhaps a match between those two at Mania. And Mark Henry comes out to face Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder comes out, gets with a chip on his shoulder. It's acknowledged that he's upset that he's not on Mania yet. And basically, Mark Henry beats the crap out of him. Basically beats him in like that, if you will. I want to make sure I get everything right here. Basically beats him in basically no time flat, if you know what I mean. So, hold on. Just trying to see what else we have. I want to make sure I don't miss anything here, because I did record it and everything, but I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so we get a vignette for Fandango, basically saying he's going to debut tonight, and I'll talk about that, because I'm getting a kick out of that a little bit. And then we have Dolph Ziggler and Miz, which is a decent match. Miz brings out Ric Flair to be in his corner. It's a decent match, back and forth. And Miz basically ends up winning the match by putting on the figure 4 on Dolph Ziggler. And what's funny about this is Big E interfered. Flair tried to come to Miz's aid, couldn't do the chop, because you know how Flair's history is when he tries to chop the bigger, stronger guys. He's like, whoa, wait a minute, what am I thinking? This causes Big E to get distracted enough to get drop kicked or kicked right in the face by Miz. And then again, like I said, it all results in Dolph tapping out to the figure 4. Then we get what is known as our point-counterpoint, or basically in-ring segment between The Rock and John Cena. And I know some people might feel that it wasn't, the best, that there were some good, moments during the segment. A lot of people have acknowledged they got a kick out of Rock's acknowledgement of Lance Armstrong, and that he said this line, and that he basically was revealed to be full of crap or whatever. So basically, it was a good little promo between both of them, and it really, to me, is what you need to do between two individuals like that to strengthen, or at least try to hype up and really, get people interested in this matchup without any physicality. It's like, don't let them touch Tomania, just like last year. Well, yeah, they touched before Mania. What am I talking about? But you kind of get the idea. They kind of touched at times, but you kind of get the idea that don't let them touch this time. Like this time, let them talk it out. Don't let them fist fight. Let them wait till Mania to see who's the best. And then we get Jack Swagger against Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And basically, the match really didn't happen. What happened, as soon as the bell rang, Swagger went out, got Duggan's 2x4, basically walloped Swagger, Slaughter, and Dusty Rhodes with the 2x4. And then, of course, this leads to Del Rio as we come back from commercial, attacking Swagger from behind, and Swagger's being interviewed for what he did. And, you know, that kind of adds more fuel to the fire when it comes to Del Rio and Swagger. Then we get Team Hell No and the Primetime Players with the stipulation that if Primetime Players beat Team Hell No, DiBiase, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man who makes an appearance, agrees that he will think about managing the PTPers. Well, they don't. Well, the PTPers, as you would expect, don't win. And Ted DiBiase, basically for laughs, to kind of show a little old school, takes out a $100 bill and places it in Darren Young's mouth. And, you know, that was good. That was a good little nostalgic moment there. But then what was funny after that is you see them walking back to you see DiBiase, Kane, and Daniel Bryan walking back. And then you see Daniel Bryan kind of like looking back, looking, towards his partner and then looking back, and it kind of slowly goes over to where Darren Young is, takes the $100 bill out of Darren Young's mouth and places it in his trunks. That was cool. That was cool. That was a good little moment. That was really nice. I think Brad of the Brad Rules said he would have done the same thing. Then we get Tenzai and Brodus Clay against Heath Slater and Drew McIntyre of 3MB. It wasn't really short, it was really quick. Because basically Honky was going to come out. Honky Tonk Man was there. He was going to come out, do his routine, his shtick, and I guess be in the corner of Team Funk, if you will, whatever. But 3MB didn't want him there, said, get out of the ring. And basically, as soon as the bell rang, it was over. As soon as the bell rang to start the match was over because Drew McIntyre started and he tried to start off with Tenzai, missed trying to get him in the corner, and Tenzai ended up rolling him up. And then basically 3MB jobbed out again. And basically what happened afterwards is they were dancing. Honky comes out and says, "Hey, you want to dance? Let's dance to my music." And they're like, "Okay, cool." But Heath Slater comes back in and Honky's like, "Okay." BAM! I woke my pets up there by accident. He went BAM! Hits him right in the head with a guitar shot. So that was pretty good to see that too. And then we get Kofi Kingston and Fandango as the next matchup, or we think it's going to be the next matchup. And to me, I'm kind of getting a kick out of this. I didn't watch Fandango's SmackDown debut, but I did see the Raw one, and I read about the interaction there, and I like what they're doing here. I like what they're doing. You see, what they're doing is, some people may not like it. They kind of feel that it's stupid. I mean, Brad of the Brad Rules basically says, "Hey, it's stupid. It's kindergarten." And some others are getting a kick out of it, and Off the Rope Show's getting a kick out of it. I don't know about the British Fist. I don't know if they like it or not, if they're siding with Brad or whatever. I don't know if the Trio Woe, who for the third time got a tout aired on Raw. What's going on there, folks? But basically, Fandango basically argues with Justin Roberts and says, "Hey, I am not..." Basically, he just indicates that until the ring announcers, announce him the way he's supposed to be, which is Fandango, he's not going to debut. Which also tells me that I think they still want to keep him sort of in the dark right now until he is really ready. I'm not really sure. And it looks like he's going to have a lady manager on his side. I'll be right back.